Welcome back to Beyond Boardroom Business. This is your host, Coach Stephanie, and I'm a business strategist. I'm an author. I love what I do. I get to interview trailblazers and business owners and leaders from around the world. But yes, I love what I do. And tonight is just another example of perfection. I have Ava the Aviator that's going to be here, and she's going to talk about the different things that she's involved in. For example, she's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's a music producer, a vocal arranger, entrepreneur, author. She's got a book out, music that's everywhere on all major platforms. So I'm going to let her talk more about who she is. So let's go ahead and bring her on. Everyone, welcome Ava the Aviator. How are you tonight?
I'm fabulous. How are you doing?
Oh, I am feeling wonderful. Thank you for asking. Man, I mean, your bio is incredible. I mean,
Thank
first of
you.
all, I want to say congratulations
Thank
because
you.
something had to have inspired you to want to do as everything that you have done. And I mean, I'm sure you're just getting started, right?
This is the beginning.
Wow. So let's get started. Let's dive into it. Can you briefly explain who you are as Ava the Aviator?
So, Ava the Aviator is a singer, songwriter, music producer, CEO, author, entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 2006. So, well, actually, no, I take that back. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 9. My
Ooh,
sister and I put out our first cassette tape. That's back. I don't know if you guys
wow.
remember cassette tapes, but
Yes.
um, my first album was when I was 9 and my sister was 7, and we would go around singing around the country, and we would sell our cassette tapes. So
Wow.
that's where the journey began. And Ava the Aviator is a creative, a manifester, um, a an aligned woman.
Okay. So let me ask you, how did you get started at 9? I mean, did you write your own music? How did you know that you can sing?
Well, I sang before I could talk and learn words. My mom said that I was having trouble learning how to spell the word red for whatever reason. Red is super easy, but I couldn't get it. So she made up a song. She was like Red, Red, and for whatever reason that stuck. And at some point, she started like taking me around to sing at different churches, and there was this couple at a church convention, and they saw me sing because I was getting down, at like 7 on the stage, like I was not saying somebody, and they were like, "You need to go to the studio." So they took me to the studio, and I was probably maybe like 8 years old. But before that, um, there was a couple that asked me, and I don't even know how they knew I could sing, but they asked me to do like this little kid show or a kid album, and they wanted to create this song called Spunky the Monkey, and they needed a singer. So they
Wow.
needed a singer. Little did I know that 20, 30 something years later I would still be doing music for a living.
Wow, wow. So did your mother inspire you with you singing to pronounce words? Did she play a lot of music, or this was just this
I
fell
don't
into?
really. I think it was a gift. Because her and my dad can sing, but they weren't like singers.
Oh,
They
I
were,
see.
in the choir at church, but they weren't doing the solos or anything.
Okay, okay.
So it was. I just say it's a gift for sure.
Mm. So when did you know that you were going to take it full force?
Um, I know when I turned, I want to say 18 or 19, I was in a play, and there was an actress. Her name was Amy. Can't remember Amy's last name, but she was like, "You need to step out on faith," and I was like, "I'm afraid. I need a job, ma'am." Like, what? What am I supposed to do after high school and going into college? And she was like, I think you should step out on faith and you'll never regret it. And
Mm,
she said that to me. For whatever reason, my 18-year-old mind was like, okay,
wow. Just
not
like,
knowing what journey this was about to be. When you just got to be careful what you ask
yeah,
for.
because with that, being in the entertainment industry, I mean, it's a lot of, you know, unprofessional people in there with a lot of power. How
Mm.
are you able to survive and thrive in that murky water?
So I always say, like what the Christians say, you're in it but not of it. So
Okay.
I saw enough of it to know that I didn't want to be a part of it in that way. So I feel like I've been protected this whole time. When I
Mhm.
thought I wanted to be in the industry, it was like that was back when record label or record getting a record deal was like the thing you should do. And I
Okay.
got a chance to work with all these different producers, and I was so excited. But then I started seeing some stuff that I'm like, mm,
Mhm.
I don't know about that. People ask me to do things. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So after a while, I just started seeing like, and my mom was like mama bear. She was not having it. Like
Yes.
if anybody said anything questionable, some guys would ask me to come to the studio. She was right there, like,
That's
oh, you
awesome.
want my daughter to come to the studio? I'm coming too. So
That's right. That's right.
very
Protected.
protective, very protective, and
Mhm.
it's being going through a lot of the stuff and seeing a lot of the things that I saw actually led me down the path to write the book, The Psychological Effects of Music. So I always say that my steps have been ordered.
Wow. The psychological effects of music. Tell us about that book.
So after a couple experiences, like I had a couple producers come to me and say, "Oh, we want you to write this way, and we need you to make it more sexy, a little bit more gangster, a little bit
Mhm.
more grimy." And I grew up in the church, so I'm like, I thought this was about what I want to write, not what you want me to write about. And
Okay.
that took me on a journey of doing research and kind of trying to figure out, about the music industry. So I'll ask you, what would you say most of the topics are on the radio right now in terms of the words?
Man, the music that they are playing on the radio now,
Yeah, what are the topics?
the topics are about uh, violence, about basically going out and they don't care about anyone but themselves.
Mhm.
It seems like the females are like, hey, it's not about love. It's about get what you can get and move on. And is he cute?
Mhm.
And that's as much as how far they go
Right,
into. It's just really bad.
right,
It's horrible. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, wait a minute, like you want me to write, and the majority of this is negative at this point. I don't feel right in my spirit about this. Um,
Right.
so as I started doing research, I started to discover the science of sound. And if you grew up in church, they always talked about life and death is in the power of the tongue, but nobody
Mhm.
taught the science behind
Mhm.
it. And when
Oh,
I learned the science of sound, it revolutionized my whole life.
okay.
Um, Everything that I've decided that I wanted in life, I've been able to bring it about through my voice. Not just
Wow.
because I could sing, but because I understood and learned the power of the tongue. And
Yes.
it changed. It was a game changer. The word abracadabra means as I speak, I create. So
Mm,
when you're speaking, you're essentially casting a spell. That's why
right.
in school you learn spelling words.
Right.
So
Right.
and then you have grammar, and then when you start to dive deep into the etymology of some of these words, you start to see a pattern.
Mm,
And so the psychological effects of music, I always tell people, I'm like, look, I done dropped some major jewels in this book. If you read the whole thing, there's no reason your life should not be changed after you read it. So I've performed places, and then I would speak afterwards, and people would be like, I want the music, but give me the book. So
Wow. That's really nice. They
because
want to
times,
run.
like, people don't really have a lot of time in their day anymore. They need answers. They need
True.
results. So I'm like, here's some results. There you go. You're welcome.
Wow. And so with your book, you have a curriculum attached to it. Is
Mm-hmm.
that correct?
Yes.
And so, like you mentioned, after they get through it, of course, they'll never be the same, but they will understand what really goes on in the music industry.
Well, it's more of an exploration behind how music affects your everyday life, the law of attraction,
I see.
how music has affected the pipeline of prison, how it has affected relationships, especially like in our communities. Back in the day, you had a whole bunch of songs that sounded like "I've got sunshine on a cloudy day." Then you got songs like two of my in the club, and I know they know about each other. But back in the day, you had songs that sounded like and it was just my imagination running away with me. It was just my imagination. And then he would say, soon we'll be married and raise a family. Oh, yeah. But then you got songs out now that sound like, I forgot what the artist's name was, but he was like, I just want you for one night, but you can't be my wife.
Wow, that's horrible.
What? Wait a minute. On pop radio, read between the lines, you got songs like "Marry That Girl," "Marry Her Anyway," but on urban radio is "I'm ready to sign these papers," and I was like, and I
Right.
started seeing these
Wow.
these patterns, and I'm like, wait a minute, because we in the '90s, you think back to like all the R&B songs, like it was about love, and
Right.
now they don't even slow dance anymore.
Ooh-wee.
It's not a thing anymore.
It's
So I'm like, okay, all of this got to be by design. And so when I started to explore and kind of go down the different avenues, I was
right. It's crazy,
no
man.
wonder everybody's single. No wonder everybody's divorced. No wonder we can't keep our relationships.
Right.
No wonder everybody getting cheated on. Like, it's a hot mess. And so I started to realize that somebody's pockets get lined from our collective chaos.
I was just gonna say, for when there's chaos, man, people make money.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why I hate to say people are sick on purpose because it keeps the world going round. I'll just stop there, but it's crazy. But I want to ask you, so why did you not just stick in the realm of church and the church music?
I started reading too many books, to be honest.
Wow, I get you.
I started, I watched The Secret and learned about the law of attraction. Well, that's interesting. But I grew up in church, right? And then I took a trip to Egypt, and I was like, so being in Egypt, I was talking to the people over there, and they said, you Nubian. I said, I'm Nubian. What? So, and they were showing me the tree of life on the wall, and I was like, interesting. So I started being exposed and connecting the dots and really exploring science, because that was super forbidden back in the before the Crusades. Science and religion didn't mix at all. But when I started reading more books on biology, like I was an A+ student in chemistry, biology, and when I started exploring science, I was like, oh, this is this and this. So it really explained the scriptures more when I like took a hiatus and when it started exploring uh,
Right.
psychology and science and metaphysics and physics and Nikola Tesla and
Mm-hmm.
numerology. It started to explain the Bible, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. And when I started connecting, it started making certain scriptures that just sounded like gibberish growing up. It made them make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
Right.
musically, it was hard for me to just stick with the status quo because now I have way more to say than just the same lyrics that you keep hearing repeated over and over at church. No offense,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it's
Right.
only
Wow. So,
me. Don't get if you get me started, I will take it all the way there.
oh wow. Man, I would love to, but not on this
Time.
episode. We'll take you to the next one. So,
Yeah.
um, is that why you wrote the book? Because of all the revelations you discovered, or was there any other reason that you decided to become an author?
Um, it was all of the revelations that I discovered while,
Mhm.
discovering the science of sound. Um, in
Wow.
church, I learned in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. But we were only taught one way, that it was, they might have been talking about the Bible. But I was like, if you allow scripture or any holy book to be like an onion, you start to peel back layers and see
Right.
things. So I
Right.
was like, well, what if it's not this book, but what if it's any word? Like at the beginning of anything that you say, it's creating something. It's the beginning of a creation, if you will. And if you
Right.
become responsible for your words and what you sing, I always tell people, how they say drink responsibly. I'm like, no, sing responsibly, speak
Oh, yes, I love that.
responsibly. And when I started to be transformed by the renewing of my mind, meaning getting new thoughts, new ideas, and executing on them, then that was like the magic key. So I wanted to, especially our people, we're
Okay.
not even supposed to be in business. Like, we're not
Right.
supposed to be running anything. We're not supposed to be successful. And we don't even know that we are the superpower already. And I
Yeah.
want to reintroduce us to ourselves.
Yes. Yes, for real, because they're not like us,
Exactly.
and we need to know who we are. Seriously.
Exactly. So that's
Yes.
what the book was. I wrote it as a curriculum, but then the adults started saying, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
I wanted to." But I was like, "Well, let me say the babies, because they actually have, they're young, they're open still." But the adults like, "Look, I need some answers too." So that's why I wrote the book.
I see.
And I want to say I was in my like late 20s, like maybe mid to late 20s. So a lot of it was by faith and just
Wow.
seeing how it changed my life and singing things into existence. And this is whether you can sing or not, or can hold a tune or not. You could be a horrible singer as long as you have a voice. That's
That's
all
true.
you need.
That's true. So,
Yeah.
what inspires you to write outside of what inspires you to write? Let's discover.
Write books, songs, just period.
Music, yeah.
Um, I'll just be walking down the street and I'll get some lyrics and like, let me write that down. Or I'll get some type of revelation and I'll say, well, how can I put this thought together in a way that's kindergarten
Okay.
and
Mm,
simple, and
wow.
so that anybody can understand it. And my I call her, she's my business coach, but I call her the Oracle, Charmaine Ford.
Oh, wow.
Um, she's really helped me get organized in my journey of entrepreneurship because I'm a visionary, so I have all the goals and everything I want to do, but I was not organized at all. And she helped me strategize. And my Kobe is actually one of my Kobe's is to simplify. And I believe that's one of my superpowers is to simplify ancient knowledge that would actually free us. And that's what inspires me to write books, write songs, write lyrics, put sound together in a way that's going to um, energize and inspire new thoughts and introduce you to yourself or reintroduce you to yourself. In the day and age that we're living in, it's very easy. Um, you literally have to fight for yourself. You got to
Yeah.
fight for your own thoughts. You have to fight for your own ideas,
Mm.
um, because life be life, and you can
Yeah.
get caught up.
Yeah.
I want to remind us of the childlike person inside of us that still exists, um, and not allow that person to get stifled and smushed underneath the weight of inflation.
Mm. I like that. That's a very great point. Uh,
Mhm.
when it comes to you writing music, how does it flow? Does it? Do you start with? I know you said when you're walking, you'll get an idea and you write it down. Does
Mhm.
it just flow from beginning, middle, end, or do you just come up and say, I want to write a song about this, and then it falls into place? And then I want to ask you, do you name the music before you put it together, or do you put it together and then name the music?
Um, it can go either way.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll get one lyric, I'll get one word, or one, not one word, but one sentence. And that's all I get for a couple weeks. And then I'll come back and I'll get another piece of it and add on to it. And then I'll add on. And then before I know it, it's a complete thought. And then sometimes I'll just get the whole song all at once and
Wow.
I'll write the whole thing down. Um, I may not come to it for months. I may not come back to it for a year. And I was like, oh, I remember I wrote that. Sometimes I get the chords first and
Mm.
then the words. So it just, I'm just an open
Okay.
vessel and I'm just listening. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get the, the info.
Which is another great reason why your coach helps you strategize your life and structure it to where
Mhm.
you can get in tune with where your work is, and so you can get to it effortlessly and
Yeah.
help put your masterpieces together. That
Mhm.
is really awesome. So
Mhm.
wow, how long does it take to write it? Could it be, like you said, it could be right away, but from
Mhm.
beginning to end to where you're ready to, produce it, on average, or is there an average amount of time that it takes to write a song, create a song?
It's not an average time.
Okay.
It really depends on what's going on. Like
Mhm.
I said, I'm an entrepreneur, CEO, and a lot of times I'll get stuck in the I call it the stuffy stuff. It's
Right.
stuff of the business that it's payroll and it's contracts need to be written and contracts need to be signed and I need to renegotiate and I need to do a sales call and I get caught up in all that and then so that's why Charmaine has been so key because she's helping me organize and put the team in place and train them and get everybody going so that I can be more free to do the writing and the creative side more often. But generally, it can be, if I hone in on it, it can take me some months because I don't like to just like one song. I'm probably gonna do a whole album. We were like
Oh, okay.
about that. They don't make albums anymore, but
Right,
I'm
right, right.
still like you would think I was born in the '70s, even though I wasn't. Like I'm an album person, so
Wow.
um, I can't just write one song.
Okay. I got you. I got you. So do you make love songs and party songs? What kind of songs do you make? Alternative? What do you do?
um, so lyrically, they would be conscious. They would be, I call it manifestation music. So the book Think and Grow Rich talks about the power of auto suggestion. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
you suggest to your brain over and over and over, you bring that about.
Mm.
The problem with the music industry is that we're singing all the wrong words repeatedly. So
Man.
my music is about bringing about what you desire in your life, not what you don't
Yeah,
want to have in your life. So,
exactly.
you know, when you think about Mary J. Blige, she's always singing about no more drama in her life, and that's exactly what she has in her relationships. Because
Ooh,
every night she's singing about
yeah.
drama.
Drama. Yeah. So that's all the universe hears is okay, that's what you want. So let's give you more of it. But like
Exactly.
you mentioned, you talk about positivity, then more positivity. People don't understand the power of the tongue, like you
Exactly.
mentioned. Wow.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm
So
merging what I learned um, in in my spiritual life, in science, in connecting the dots. So that's what my music is all about. And I have some controversial songs. I have some
okay.
songs that
Okay.
a few about love. The more I live and go through relationships and stuff, I have a lot more to say about love. So but
Oh.
what I'm realizing is that's all that really matters.
Mhm. That's true.
That's it. Like,
That's
and
true.
people run from it.
Yeah.
They, you know, a lot of the men have a hardened heart, and I think that's by design. It's not of their own accord that they chose that. It's the
Yeah.
music. So
Yeah.
I'm on a mission to re-educate, re-enlighten, and cause those to remember who they are.
That's
I
right.
our men to remember you are a king. They used to come and learn from you in Egypt. It wasn't the other way around. Like,
Mm, mm.
and one day this lady came to me, and she was like, "Well, what gives you the authority to write a book?" And I was
What?
like, "What?" And I
Wow.
thought about it, and I was like, "Ma'am, the first university was in Africa. University, universe. You learned about the universe from us, ma'am. Don't ever
Woo.
question me again." So
Amazing. You don't have the right, in her words, you don't have the right to have a voice. Wow. That you have to get somebody's permission to use your voice.
to say something, I'm
Wow.
like, wow, okay, I
Wow.
got
That's amazing. So who are some of the people that you have worked with that our viewers will know?
So, No ID, who is Kanye West's mentor, he actually gave me my name. We were in the studio one day, and we were singing. I was working on something, singing, and he was like, "Your name should be called Ava the Aviator." And I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Cause you fly." I was like, "I
Oh,
like that."
that's
I like
nice.
that. So, but it's a life philosophy. It's about taking flight. You know, when life gives you turbulence,
That's right.
what you
That's right.
gonna do with it? Are you
I
gonna hold
love
on to the baggage, or are you gonna get in the pilot seat and fly your plane regardless of what's happening? Get through the
it. Yeah,
turbulence so you can fly high. So
that's right.
it's a life philosophy. I've worked in front of the camera, behind the scenes. Worked with social dev producers, El Rock, who produced Yeah for Usher, as well as being on in front of the camera, which is on Big Mama's House 3, The Lottery Ticket, and BT's The
Wow.
Game, as well as countless others. And just working in front of the camera and behind the scenes, um, I learned that a lot of times we are taught to only be the talent instead of the owner. And
Mm.
just because we're talented doesn't mean that's the only thing we can do. While I was in Egypt, I learned about, I think his name was Emotep, but
Mm-hmm.
he was like a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. He did everything. He could do
Yes.
so many things. And
Yes.
everybody always tells you, you know, what your career going to be. And I think it's good for you to focus on your first thing first.
All
But
right.
just being in the industry, I started wondering and having thoughts like, I wonder who's at the top of the food chain versus, you know, who's always at the bottom. And I, even though I can't sing and do songwriting and music, I always knew that I was capable of multiple things. And so I decided to, when I was maybe 20, I told God that I wanted to own my own business before I got married. And be careful what you ask for because you might just get it. Um, moved to Atlanta, and within a month of being in Atlanta, my boss disappears.
Whoa.
I have not seen this man to this day. And I'm sitting in the office,
Huh.
and it's dark because the lights are off. I later on I found out he was going through a divorce, so he was trying to hide money. So he just stopped coming to work, so his um, ex-wife couldn't find him. But I'm sitting in the dark, still coming to work. Like I think I don't have a job anymore.
Wow.
And my
Wow.
last two checks bounced, and I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
how am I gonna make it? I just moved here. I can't go back home because my ego and my pride won't let me go back because I'm from Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota. Um, I don't want to go back home, and so I decided to start doing sales calls for my music workshops, which is another venture that I have where I do music classes and have a creative arts staffing agency because I wanted to give other musicians the opportunity to still be able to do what they love and get paid for it. So I
Mm.
started while I have no job or don't know if I have a job or not. Last two checks bounced. I started making sales calls, and I was like, I don't think I have a job anymore. I think I should probably just stop coming to work. That happened. Maybe 2 weeks after that, I got a job taking the elderly to get their prescriptions. So I would
Okay.
pick them up, take them to get their medicine, take them back home. I literally had this job for 1 week. 1 week.
Wow.
Email. They're like, we're sorry, Miss Ava. We've decided to fold the Atlanta division. I said, what?
Crazy. Wow.
You gotta be careful what you ask God for.
Yes.
So I'm like, is this a sign that I'm supposed to keep going
Fly.
on my business?
Fly. Yes.
Thirdly, I got a work from home job, and I was about to say the name, but I won't say it. But I got a work from home job, making customer service calls. This was back when you had to activate your cell phone. So I was helping
Okay.
people activate their cell phone.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to juggle like doing the sales call for my own business. And I remember I put a customer on hold too long, and um, my boss came to me one day and he talked to me. He was so condescending.
Woo.
You better not ever put anyone on hold that long or you're going to lose your job. I said, bet. I clocked out and I never clocked back in again. I said, no one would ever talk to me the way he just talked to me. And I never like clocked back in. They probably was like, this employee just disappeared. And I've been on the journey to entrepreneurship ever since then. And it's been, I want to say 18 years.
Wow. But look at all that you've accomplished. And usually right before the huge blessing, it's a lot of turbulence. And
Mm,
that's your journey. So
yes.
so how do you relax and unwind? Because you're so busy.
Oh, that's a great question. I sit on my balcony. um,
Nice.
I like to go to beaches. I really like beaches a lot. I like Bridgerton right now. That's been my jam.
Okay.
And I just love laughing. As long as I'm an extrovert, so
Okay.
um, I keep saying I'm gonna do this, but I need to go salsa dancing. I like to dance and do like fun things like that. I like old school Saturday. I love spades.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I love cookouts, barbecues. But in terms of relaxing, I definitely take my Sabbath. I take it really, really seriously. So it's gonna be at least one day where I just lay there for
Okay.
probably 5 or 6 hours on
Mhm.
TikTok or just scrolling, or I might read a book. But I'm gonna get my Sabbath in for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Recharge. You know. Yeah.
Self-care is so important. I was telling one of my friends the other day, I'm like, I'm so into making sure my staff get paid and I forget myself. And I was like, I don't want to look up in 10 years
Yeah.
and I've aged, I've lost myself. I got, high blood pressure because I was just stressed
Yes.
out all the time. So I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Everything will get done. It will get done, but I'm gonna go
Exactly.
exercise. I'm gonna take time to eat right. I'm gonna take,
Mm.
breaks in the middle of the day. I might go for a walk, go to the mailbox, just to get some sun in the middle of the day to reset. And then I
Yeah.
have these musical cues on my cell phone. I call them Reset to Joy. I forgot the girl's name. I saw it on TikTok. But I found all my favorite songs, and throughout the day, these songs come on that make me
Right.
happy. So if I'm stressed out, my favorite song is gonna come on at 1 o'clock. It's gonna reset me back to joy. And I believe that joy it's the hidden frequency of wealth. Um,
Mm.
it's underestimated, and I believe that this is the reason why there's such a push to make sure we're unhappy and depressed and have anxiety.
Mm.
And there's this whole big mental health push right now, um, which I'm cool with. However, it's real simple. Laughter is medicine.
Yes.
Your daily medicine. Whatever. I'll take even as far as saying this. Miss Olite, who the lady I used to live with when I moved to Atlanta, um, she found I had a I'm like, I shouldn't even go there because I'll be going down a whole rabbit hole. I'll just shorten it by saying this. She got a diagnosis that she had cancer.
Oh
And
wow.
um, most people they take that diagnosis and it's devastation.
Yeah.
In Chinese medicine, they don't if you have cancer, they don't even tell you because they know the body can heal itself.
Right. That's
So
right.
they
They just
just
good, huh?
They're like, oh, you'll be fine. And eventually the body will heal itself. Over here, for whatever reason, they want to make you depressed and it plays you on your mind. So I told Miss Olite, I'm like, look, you are hereby, I I declare and decree that you need to watch a comedy show at
Yes.
least once a day.
Yes. So
Through this whole time.
therapeutic. It is.
She
It,
watched it, had her surgery, and she's cancer free to this day. And I truly believe that laughter is medicine, and I believe joy
oh, I know it
is
is.
wealth. There's a scripture that says, um, where Yeshua says, rejoice. Again, I say rejoice. And I'm like, why would he take the time to say
Again.
rejoice and then say, do it again, rejoice again?
Mm.
And after COVID, I understood fully why he was like, rejoice. Again, I say rejoice. Because
Mhm.
joy is where the frequency of wealth lies. And you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
attract what you need in your life without that frequency.
Ooh, girl. Oh my gosh, that is so true.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm.
Um, oh wow. Is there anything else you would like to leave the listeners and the viewers? Because you are just definitely dropping some knowledge. I mean, that book sounds like it's definitely the psychological effects of music.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. I can just tell that that book has some substance, and that's what we need. We
Hmm.
need that in the schools. You know, we really need great literature
Yeah.
for the youth to see. But
For sure.
what would you like to leave the listeners and the viewers?
Since your viewers are in business, I was telling you earlier, I'm in the growth phase of business, which
Yes.
everybody's like, grow your business, get lots of sales. But once you do that, no one tells you, oh, now that your sales are up, that may mean that your expenses and what you need every week
Yes.
increases.
Yes.
And that has probably been one of the hardest things that I've ever
Okay.
gone through was the growth part.
Gotcha.
When people start to actually use your business on a daily basis,
Right.
honestly, you learn about yourself.
Right.
But I would say I talked to this millionaire when I was probably 17 or 16. And I was like, his name was David Pomajet. He owned 5 businesses, one being GameStop. And I said, Mr. Pomajet, what's the secret to business? And I'm waiting for this like elaborate,
Right.
like the secret is, And I was, I would tell you, I was very disappointed by his answer.
What he say?
And he said, in the words of Winston Churchill, never, ever, 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 ever give up. Like,
That's true.
that's so freaking
On point. It's true.
I ain't want to hear that. But I understand fully now why he said never, ever, ever, ever,
Yes.
ever, 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 ever give up.
Yeah.
Because you are gonna want to give up millions of times. And especially
Man.
after COVID and after
Yeah.
inflation and after everything out of everything that's happened, we're losing people. It's
Yeah.
craziness. And the last thing you want to do is keep going.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people feel that way, like, and not even just in business, just in life, period. They just over it. And I
Yeah.
would say that your presence is valued, it's appreciated, it's needed. Just don't give up.
I
And
love
Will Smith said something really cool the other day. He put out a new song and he was like, we're not being punished, we're being forged. And I was like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
I love it. Yeah, definitely. But like you said, Churchill, never, ever, 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 man. Oh, that hits. That
And
hits.
you a business specialist, so like
Man. Life, life be life, and it throws all kind of things your way. But it helps me see how strong and resilient I am. But I don't have to see it all the time. you know,
be on the strongest person list.
man, man.
I've been
Okay.
doing that.
But I love what I do, and I'm not going to stop. Like you
Right.
said, I'm never going to give up. So thank you, Ava the Aviator. I enjoyed this. Definitely good luck on your success. I know you're doing well, and you're just expanding. A beautiful problem to have. You're expanding. So congratulations. I know it's going to all come together. It always does, right?
Thank you. Yes, for sure. And if you want to grab the book or download the
Yes.
music, you can go on the streaming platforms.
Yes.
Go on the at the bottom of your screen. There's avatheaviator.com, and you can check out grab the book off the website. For the schools, we have a program called Say It With Music. The website is Say It With Dash Music, not underscore but dash. Say It With Dash Music, and if you wanted to book a music recording workshop. We do a music recording workshop where we bring a recording studio on site to help students write and record a song. And then during the week-long camp, they actually film a music video. And
wow.
so the response to it has just been phenomenal.
Yes.
And while they're having fun, they're learning about the psychological effects of music and how the music that they're listening to is affecting their decision-making and their behavior. So we're on a mission to get to as many of our youth as possible, because I feel like they're on a mission to make us the permanent underclass.
Man.
And I'm like, over my dead body. So like my whole being is about my people and making sure that we thrive and come out this thing not only alive but thriving.
Man, okay. Because they are now trying to bring slavery back. And I just can't understand. But people like you, we need people like you. So thank you so much. And I'm definitely going to follow up with you in a couple of months, if you don't mind, to see all the wonderful things you're doing. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you all. I hope you all enjoyed it. And as she mentioned, joy is the hidden frequency of true wealth. I mean, that is so true. So you too can have wealth. It's all in the power of the tongue, as she just mentioned. Again, check out avatheaviator.com. I hope you all enjoyed this session of Beyond Boardroom Business with your host, Coach Stephanie, the business strategist, author, and your host tonight. And I am here every Thursday, 7 p.m. live. And I look forward to many more interviewing other trailblazers, leaders, small business owners. Let's do this, everyone. I hope you all have an enjoyable rest of your evening. Until the next time, stay positive, stay prayerful, and stay persistent. And like Churchill said, never, ever, ever, ever give up.